The universe will never give you peace in something you weren't meant to settle in.
Facts, bro.
And that, like, fucking, that hit me like a bus. I almost cried.
Are we here? All right, let's keep rolling.
We're here, bro.
We're hyped. People, we're hyped.
Yo,
It's a
welcome
good
back. It's from a very, 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 very happy day and very, very good episode of the Evolve podcast with me, Lewis, and Sam.
Hello. You know what's mad? We're not people who this might be their first episode listening to us. Like, we're not always back.
You need to go back 30.
We need to go the sufferings with
Go to episode like 13. Right.
Trials and tribulations.
How do you want to deliver, Sam?
We made it.
We made it.
We made it.
Not on the pod, but
not on the pod. This just big steps. There's steps to this. There's levels to this. Like the pod success is also coming. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Time will bounce to the pod.
But for now,
we individually have made it. We gone good.
I'll let you break your news first, Sam.
Let me do mine because I think we will silently. There's been so many. So obviously, I have found a new job. I found a new opportunity, and you know what? I've just realized this is going to come out way before redundancy tales comes out, and I'm probably going to tailor that a bit now because, I'm definitely leaving on a good note. Redundancy tales is basically a video diary for myself at this point. And there were certain emotions that I was going through. You might have been able to tell in some of the episodes. I wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't really feeling myself. I was here because it felt like it was my job to be here for Lewis, right? I was going through things in the background. People trying to hurt me. People trying to make me poor. People trying to stop me being able to pay my bills in this cold winter. And the good Lord said, "No, Sam, I've got you." So I have secured a new role as Bionic as one of the new product managers. London-based role. Very excited to go and work with Bionic. Very excited to start my new journey there. Ultimately, though, I will say there was a lot of higgy going on at Experian. I did in between my old job as a product manager and my new job that's coming up. By the time this episode goes live, it's been next week Friday, right? Yeah, next week Friday. By the time this goes live, we're good. We made it. I'll probably be right now prepping for my leaving due. So, yeah. Long story short, left my old role as a product manager, and I've spent about 3 to 4 weeks as a product owner. And I'll put it this way, Lewis. I didn't realize how good it could be in Experian. And I'm not putting my old job down, but the team, the company, basically the branch that runs the app, it's such a happy place to be. It's so happy. And we're going into more depth. We've got more to say. I want to obviously jump on your note. I don't want to make from beginning to end this all about my journey.
No, we got time. But say your piece, man.
I would say this, Lewis, in the nicest way possible. You know, Lion King, where what's his dad's name?
Mufasa.
Mufasa's showing Simba the lands, and it's to the dark bits.
Don't go there. That's how EYZ.
Yeah. Team that runs the app is the light. It is such a happy place. You turn up, and when you turn up to staff meetings, and I think maybe it's because in the other side, there's a lot happening. It's quite a stressful environment right now. Come on, camera, keep up. We're staying positive. Thank you. There's a lot of stress right now, and we're trying to achieve a lot. Well, they're trying to achieve a lot in that department. So morale isn't at its best. But in the ECS side, dude, bro, they are happy. And they are happy. When you join a team meeting, I was a product owner. I've been a product owner for the past 3 weeks, and we're ahead of capacity. We're sat there okay, what other problems can we fix? We're excited. Every time I join the call, and then when I got this offer come through, I'm just like, why are you going to throw a curveball in here? I finally found happiness in this place. I'm finally at home. It's a role that was technical. It was aligned with me. And I was just I'm finally at peace with my choice in life now. I turned down a lot of offers, and I've accepted this. I did my, the pros and cons, everything. And yeah, I did all that, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is the decision we're going with. And then this company just came in and just went, yeah, we hear that. We hear that you said no. But here's out. Let's talk about this. The travel thing, don't worry too much about that. We can come to some agreements. I was like, okay, your PhD, we're interested in that. We're mainly B2B, but we're interested in the B2C angle. So let's talk about it. I'm just like, okay, tick. And then they were just like, travel money though, we got you. I was like, and like, we can give you the right salary, don't worry. I'm just like, okay. So then I basically had to, I'm trying my best to not give out too much, because I'm sure there's secrecies that need to be maintained. But I basically got put in a position where I was just there like, crap, I'm going to have to think about this over the weekend. And Lewis, you know what I've been through. Like
Yeah.
the decisionings I've been having to do.
It was the
I had
equivalent
to
of
make
like,
a choice, and I finally made one.
yeah,
And then I got thrown back in.
yeah. You know what? It was like, it was like all of a sudden you had, you became single, or what, and all of a sudden all these baddies.
I became single with the same energy as someone who's got a girl. You know what? You know boyfriend energy. Like when you walk, when you get a missus, you walk around the club.
They all
And then in the club, we're a fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all the ladies want you, or you get the sense. I don't know whether it's like you're more confident in yourself, like you're taken, but it's
aura.
You start
The aura
the aura is different. Like,
right.
you
Honestly,
feel like, hey, she's checking me out. What's going on? As soon as you're single, it's done.
you ain't got that.
As soon as it's single, it's like negative aura.
Yeah,
I'm saying
got
that's
that
the
stink.
stank of depression. It's like a cloud and flies all over you.
The stank you want to crumb. Yeah.
In the market right now, I feel like I'm single.
You could be a whore.
I still have the aura.
But yeah, not.
Like, I feel like I am being sensible by choice. I'm choosing not to hoe in the market, and it was mad. Like, how many times did I call you? I was like, I've got another interview.
Yeah,
I've got another. I was like, crazy.
Yeah, I had a very different experience of this. Because mine wasn't Lou, here are jobs for you. Like, no, I was getting rejected for years, and this job found me. So no, I'm happy for you, man, because
I would say though, dude,
I'm
your experience prepared me mentally for what could go wrong. And I think my natural, as you always say, and I always thank you for this, you empowered me to believe myself in saying that and I actually used this in some interviews, and saying that even one of my closest friends says I've got high level figure out ability. I just get it done. And I was like, I think I just found a way to save myself from being homeless. And I basically put in everything that people said about their journey. I just made notes of it, and I was like, okay, how can I defeat this? How can I defeat that? From day one, I've been on job. Like, we'll talk about it more. We'll delve into that more. Let's learn more about you. But I will say that in this journey, as much as I'm right now gassed, and Lewis, I talked about all the successes, there were a few rejections. There were a few rejections that we'll talk into later. But yeah, that's all about you. That's all about you.
Yeah, dude. So after genuinely 2 years of trying to leave this job, your boy handed in this notice yesterday. I'm going to the new land. I'm not going to say the company name. I'm going to keep it on download for now, because but honestly, dude, like, it's been unreal. Like, I had like the best weekend of all time, and all the struggle was actually worth it in the end. Like, all of it, and it's so good. And yeah, it was just unreal. So Rosie works in she's a headhunter, so she knew what the call was going to be, and I was like, I'm gonna go upstairs and take this call. Like, I don't want you to eavesdrop on this call, like, because I was 99% sure it was going to be an offer call, and we had those scenarios of like, oh, if they offer you this, like, say whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so have the phone call. I'm like, yes, chat. Yeah, push back, figure it out. Yeah, cool. Hang up. And I literally like scream, and like Rosie's like screaming, because she turns out she eavesdropped the whole conversation the whole time.
Of course she did.
We not alone. And like, we hugged, cried, champagne, all legit. Called the parents, told them everything. Yeah, man.
Patreon episode, it's a different thing. No, she doesn't say we
are. Nah, man. Honestly, it's most surreal feeling. I'd like, bro, like, the only way I could compare this to is like, I felt like Will Smith at the end of Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh my gosh.
I felt like Will Smith at the end of Two Happiness.
The playful moment where you're trying to hold it all together to be a man.
I was just like, it's like, oh, we want to offer you dinner. I was like, that was so good. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And I was like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, happy to hear all that sort of stuff. Like, I was keeping my shit in because like my brain was just on fire. Like, you know, when you can hear your heartbeat in your body, but you hear it also outward. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, dude, it's I know this isn't all just based off me and my resilience. Because as I said in the previous episode, like resilience is teamwork. So I've had a very good network around me for going through a very, very tough time, particularly this year. You're obviously one of those people as well. So I'm grateful for you, dude.
You're welcome.
I've given my flowers to everyone, most of all Rosie. She's the one who's had to deal with me being a mess like 3 a.m. at night when I thought I might lose my job and my house. And bro, that was for right. This is how life works, right? I remember I had dinner with my brother. It was October 22nd, and I was like,
I remember the date,
dude.
Jesus.
I was like, I feel like I might lose everything, like because of the way like I'm being treated currently at work. Like, I don't know if I'm going to lose my job. I can't, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And dude, I was in such a fucking shit place. And then that's when therapy started. Like, the week late, like that following Monday, like, got it sorted. Because that's when he said, you should probably go to therapy. And then Shara's like, you should go to therapy. Bro, goes to therapy twice.
The best investment ever.
Now life is up. I spent 120 quid, and now everything's like literally fallen into place. Like within that time frame, within the last 4 weeks, decided to move out of London, and got a new job. Like,
I mean, this is if anything, this is a reminder. Watch the last episode, guys. Finish this one first because you started it.
Well, yeah,
that's all about therapy, really.
But
oh god.
But dude, like, it was what's been so weird. It's like I applied. I sent you the screenshot. I applied for. I think I want to say it ranges between 1,000 and 1,200 jobs on LinkedIn in the last 2 years. I actually looked, and I got to. I haven't shared all this on the pod, but
yeah,
there were so many times where I thought I was going to hand in my notice, to the point where I even spoke to HR about if these possibilities were to happen, because some are competitors and stuff like that, and I just wanted to make sure. Like, it got that close. I got to the final stage 5 times, and there was a different variant of bullshit that happened every single time. What's amazing is where I'm moving to and what's being offered to me in terms of lifestyle, compensation, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's better than what I was aiming for.
Damn, son.
So, and I saw this post on Instagram the Sunday after I got the offer, and I saved it. And it's so weird. And it said, the universe will never give you peace in something you weren't meant to settle in.
Facts, bro.
And that, like, that hit me like a bus. I almost cried, because all those rejections redirected me to something else. And I know I sound like I've kind of, it's really weird, dude. Like, I literally, like, I've never felt so confident I was going to have a job. I felt like I had the universe was with me. I was like, it's my time. Like, I just knew it's my time. I genuinely felt like there's no way I'm not getting it. Like, I feel fine. I feel very, like, I'm in that mood where I feel invincible right now. Like, and I could deal with any issue. Like, Rosie and I are trying to find a place at the moment. I'm like, it's fine. We'll find a place. And I was like, look, if I can do this, like, we can find a house in a month. Like, I found this solution in 2 weeks. Like, it's fine. Like, we'll figure it out. Like, I genuinely think now, like, any issue I have, I'm like, it's cool. I got it sorted. Like, I genuinely, I'm on that high at the moment. And you know, when I said to you in that confidence episode, I was like, I really missed the self-belief that I had when I was like 19. I now have that back, which is sick.
So when you were at uni, you're like, it's okay, I'll find a job when it's over.
Yeah, it's like,
Like,
oh,
exactly.
yeah,
It's
cool.
alright.
Like, I'll get it.
Everything
Because
seems
it's
to
me.
like make sense because it does, and it just
Yep.
works. Like you
But now I
first
have.
time you're like, I'm gonna get a sick job after this, yeah, and then reality sets in sometimes after leaving it, and then you realize you just got to take eight
Yeah.
sometimes.
But
It's working out. It's working out.
But yeah, dude, I feel like I've got a piece of me back that's been missing for a while. I have a lot of self-belief in myself now after navigating this shit. And dude, it was the equivalent, like I was drowning and I was like, it was up to my eyes. And like all these things that were stressing me out are gone. Bro, I haven't had my brain this quiet in 7 years. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it hasn't been this peaceful in here. Like, I just sleep chilling. Like, it's just like it's so good. Yeah, man. It's
Dude,
mad.
we've got to bring. I feel like I can't stay hyped the whole hour. I'm not gonna lie. There will be. I'll probably tone it down a bit because I really enjoyed how chilled I was in the last episode. I'm not gonna lie. My cold is more or less gone. I'm definitely not going to training tonight, obviously, because we're recording. But the physical torment of being in a, let's say, a negative, not negative environment. That's very harsh to put it because there's pros and cons to every role. The physical torment of being essentially having your hierarchy of needs threatened. When you've got so close to that top of the pyramid. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Let me just, and I think I've showed it on
Self-actualization yeah.
I think I've actually recorded it before, and I don't know if I've done it in a solo episode or I've talked about it in one of these ones. Let me see if I can just get it up somewhere and I can just show it on the screen because it's
just tell them to Google it. Google it.
Google it. I'll put a link in.
Everyone's got internet if they're listening to this. Go Google Maslow's hierarchy if you don't need it.
Use your internet connection. But yeah, ultimately, it's there's different levels to it. You've got your physical needs at the very bottom. The safety above that, so making sure that you're not going to die in the morning. Having your peers near you, the love and belonging, peers, people that you've got your support network, like Lewis has spoken earlier. And then it's kind of the next one above that is being in a position in life where you respect yourself, where you believe in yourself. And at the very top of the pyramid is self-actualization, where you actually start doing the things you really want to be doing. You're not just thriving to survive. It's surviving to thrive, wherever it is, right? And when you get so close, and I'd say that I was more like the midway. I definitely was like respecting myself and the self-esteem. I'm self-actualizing because I'm doing my PhD. I'm doing side quests. I think you should only really be doing side quests when you're at the top of the pyramid, when you can say you're at the top of the pyramid. And I'm doing side quests, and then like you end up in a position where, for me, it was redundancy. For you, your job wasn't right for you, dude, and you just realize that this could go away. You realize like the very like mid to bottom, the safety, and then the physiological needs, being able to feed yourself, being able to pay rent, have shelter, that gets threatened. It crushes you down because you can't be at the top of that pyramid. It's not like you jump in between. You can't be at that top without the base levels being fulfilled. And it just felt like it really messed me up in a way where I didn't know it was messing me up.
Yeah.
Because I was being positive throughout my whole redundancy experience. I know that you have your ways of working, but ultimately you were trying to be positive. You're trying to get the day job done because you are turning up. Although you're like, I'm doing what I'm paid to do, you're still turning up and putting effort into your work. And it's hard to like, you hurt yourself when you do that. You're just basically like, it's like sprinting towards a brick wall.
Yeah.
You know it's taking you nowhere, but you're still running full pace because you have to. And it's so demeaning when you realize that you're doing something that has no benefit to you anymore. And I didn't realize that my OCD came back full swing. I was fully like, I was checking light bulbs and hobs like 3 times as much as I used to before I go to bed. I was going mad with it. I was not sleeping properly. I was ill almost every other day. I was literally fighting a cold because I was like, I can't be ill. I've got interviews coming. I've got to be applying for jobs. There's no time to be ill.
Yeah.
And comparing, like, you can only realize the situation you're in when you like have moments like these where it all comes through. And I would say that I've definitely had very positive dilemmas. Like dilemmas that made it like, I feel like people were trying to help me, but deep down they're also just like, shut the
Yeah, bro.
You better get the hell over yourself and stop crying about good times. But it was all, I think there was a lot of rebuilding myself, rebuilding my self-respect up again. A lot of believing in myself again after that experience. And it worked out in the end. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It just worked out in the end.
That's good, man.
It's worked out and I'm happy.
I've learned the dots only connect in reverse. I saw that earlier today. And I've learned a lot about myself
today.
bro. I'm looking back because all the things that I've been reading.
Please, can we run?
I know, man. No, honestly, dude, I've learned a lot about myself reflecting back, because now it's just a lot of things are like making sense. And the things that we talk about, like entrepreneurship, and it's like it's just failing till you win. And I feel like this is the win that I've got, and I've literally had 1,000 failures, like in terms of trying to keep going. And I know that there's always this bit of me that just refuses to quit. I've always got more to give, and I really love that about myself. Like I find energy, or like one more attempt, like from somewhere. Like I'm very, very, and I think it's probably, I don't know, is it tenacity or is it stubbornness? I don't know.
It's survival, bro.
Yeah.
It's weird to be talking about life in this way, because we are so privileged, dude. We really are so privileged, and I think it's important to recognize that, because we've had first world problems. These are first world problems.
Oh yeah.
And I'm bringing it to the front of our minds and anyone who's watching or listening to this, because we're crying about, the purple. That's really what we're crying about. We're crying about being able to do jobs that align with that self-actualization, jobs that kind of, for you, it's finding things that align with your creativity. It's embracing you, who you are, your character. It's finding something and that's what for the past 2 years you've been thriving to do, is to find a role that really aligns with what you want to do in life, and also the bag you deserve. And that's fine. For many people though, many people who are trying to start a business, many people who are they just want money and they just need money, they are fully working on the red. Like some people put themselves back in the red.
Yeah.
Like some people literally put it, and I commend you. I know Luke, I remember I talked to Luke and he was just like, it's okay, because we're going to start something together, and if it doesn't work out, like you might just have to like take a bit of a pay cut. We could just work on one of our ideas. And I'm just like, I can't do that, Luke. You can't make me go back to the red. Like, you can't make me go back to just being able to afford just enough to pay for my mortgage and my bus tickets.
I'm not
going
from a meal deal.
I'm not going all the way here where I tap my card on the meal deal and we hope and pray.
We still see on this side. Bro,
I am here. They're good. They tested me and they tried to take the rug underneath me away with the food. And like I think one thing you've done that I failed to do in the start of this episode is be very thankful to my network. And I know a lot of people who've been helping me actually do watch our episodes. So massive thank you to you all. You know who you are. I don't want to kind of put anyone on the spot in uncomfortable situations, but massive thank you to you all for like connecting me with the right contacts, providing me with the right services that kind of help me actually drag out my skill sets that I do have and believe in that. Because for a brief period, I was struggling. I was fully like, I was fully at the yellow. I was desperately trying to work on the green, my self-esteem. And I think my previous product management experience for a good while, I was responsible for a lot of things. But I was not able to celebrate it. So because my self-esteem, you know how I've talked about how, I'll take this off for now because we're going to slowly pivot away from it. But you know how I talked about how I don't celebrate much? I think it's because I just didn't believe in myself enough to celebrate it. It didn't seem like a win. It didn't seem like I deserved to. And there were moments where people in my old team would say like, oh, hey, like you should really celebrate. This was a huge win. Like you've done this new launch. It's really good. But then deep down, there were also some cases, some individuals that left me feeling like, oh, you're not, oh, you did it, I guess. Or you did okay, I guess. And I'm just sat there like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't celebrate it. Maybe I'm not good enough to actually like brag about this. Maybe what I've done isn't a big deal. And there are definitely individuals who make you feel like, oh, what do you actually product manage? Like, what do you actually do here? And it left me feeling like, should I do? But through the interviews, through like an opportunity to just freely express myself without giving a damn about other people, without giving a damn about what other people think, be able to just express my skill set, my knowledge on the topics without worrying about someone calling me out and saying, you're wrong, and just trying to throw me off because it's funny. I realized that I am actually gifted in certain areas when it comes to product management. I am gifted when it comes to just tech in general and doing the job. And I had to take a step back, and I'd say the product ownership role I did, although brief, put me in definitely an environment where I was able to like respect myself, because there was a lot of people who were, like, my first 2 weeks there, dude. But my team were just like messaging me, dude, thank you so much. Like, you're doing so great. Thank you so much. Like, we really like you. You've been here for 2 weeks and you've fully thrown yourself into the role. We can't appreciate you enough. And I'm just sat there like, what? Why are they thanking? Like, what's going on here? And then I just slowly realized that, you know what? Yeah, I am skilled. I should believe in myself more. And there are definitely individuals who've turned around and gone, oh, you've got so lucky with all these job things, or, oh, I don't know how you did this. And to them, I'm just like, screw you. Like, genuinely, like, no offense, but like, screw you. Because it's talk like that leaves you thinking, well, you're not that good. It's like, it's all just luck. And I think it's important to just get that out of your mind. We should believe in ourselves more. We should believe that we've got these opportunities because we deserve it. We should believe that we can strive for more.
Yeah.
Your limitation shouldn't be your limitation should not be the imagination of others.
Absolutely, dude. That's a bar. God, we got
Thank
bars
you.
today.
I had to cut.
And you
I
know
had to
what?
come for the bar championship.
That's something which I think therapy definitely helped me with, and it completely changed my approach to this interview. Because I think, and my dad said this as well, that in the other interviews, I probably had the aura of like, I was desperate to leave. Like, even if not by the things I was saying, but genuinely just probably by the way that in my head, I was just like, I need this to like get out, like, you know, and most communication is like body language, right? So the vibe I was probably giving off wasn't the best. Now, what I did differently for this one is, and I implore everybody to do this. I don't know if that was the right term to use, but yeah. I sweated every single possible detail on the job description.
100%.
Every single one. I made sure it was like, so one of the things that it asked about, which was like, it was like, oh, this is a plus. So I was like, but not essential. I decided, oh, I'm not going to say I have, oh yeah, I know something about that. I went, no, fuck that. After reading Relentless, the Kobe Bryant and coach book, I was like, I'm making sure I am the number one choice, and it's going to be so obvious, and I'm going to crush anybody who is against me. That was my approach in my head. I was like, there is no fucking way I'm losing this job. I was like, I'm not doing rejections again. I cannot be fucked. I was like, I'm done. I was like, this is it. There's no plan B. It's plan A, and that's it. So for hours after work, I was studying everything about the job. I was like, I knew who my interviewers were. I would YouTube them. I went on every single post that they had on LinkedIn to see what they're talking about the company. Like, oh, they post, they said, oh, they're doing this. Great. I want to learn about that. I went onto YouTube. Do they have any videos? Like, one was with the VP of sales. I watched every single video, and I watched it at 0.7 speed. I made notes, watched sales presentation they were doing at Cannes and like Video Week. I watched every single thing. I was like, oh, I don't know what that acronym is. Look up that acronym. ChatGPT. What's this? Learn every single thing about it. Why did the company get formed? Who are the main clients? Like, I made sure I knew every single.
You were there to fix problems that they didn't even know they had.
Yes, and that's how I positioned myself in. I was like, I am a problem solver, and I was like, and I'm going to fix. I can fix it, and I can figure it out. That was how I positioned myself, and I didn't come in being like, because I
think you just name dropped the company, by the way.
Did I?
Yeah,
I don't think I did. Oh, I'll go. But what I did with this one, and I think this was a very smart play, is that I didn't show that I was an expert by saying, I know this and I know this and stuff. I was using the acronyms to things that I shouldn't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you knew it. But it's
So I knew it,
and
but
the average person wouldn't.
the average person wouldn't, or someone who knows a little bit wouldn't talk about it in this way.
Yeah.
So I was saying, like, I was basically talking about, like, oh yeah, because ACR and oh yeah, like I was using the terminology that you would use if you're an expert in it. So I didn't need to tell them I was an expert. I was already showing it by the way I was talking about it. So the interviews were very simple after that, because they would just ask me, oh, what do you do? Why do you like the role? And between those two, I had part A of, I'm doing way too much at the moment anyway, and I clearly understand what I'm doing. Combine that with, I understand everything you're doing, and I understand what your problems are without even you having to tell me. Once we have that fusion of, so this guy's being overworked, underpaid, and he could already come in and fix our problems, say less. Like, I made sure that was the how to make it super easy for them, because I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about this, and oh, I really need training on this. I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm making sure it's me, and you're not thinking about anybody else. I want you to be interviewing other people, thinking about me. That's what I went. That's genuinely how I approached it. I was like, because I need this. I need this. I've deserved it.
F-boy energy to it's a job application.
Because I earned it. I earned it. I wasn't oh, thank God. I was like, no, I'm making sure it's me, and I'm going to sweat every single thing. If they genuinely were like, didn't give me the role, I can say, that's bullshit, but I literally could have done nothing else. I completely changed my approach.
Exactly.
So I would say to people, if you're genuinely facing a lot of rejection, change your approach to what you're doing. Like, you need to, like, completely deconstruct your applications, your seat, like, completely. You need to use someone else's brain to approach it. The one thing I will say, though, is that this role found me. I didn't apply for it.
Oh, do tell.
So a recruiter DM'd me.
Okay.
And said, oh, we have this, da 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 da. And I was like, here they go, trying to offer 20K again. And they did not. And I was like, okay, let's make this happen. And dude, the role wasn't even on the company website.
Oh.
So they literally just went to a recruiter, chucked in 5 people, me included, and that was it. So my field of competitors was very small. So all those applications, complete fucking waste of time. And what I learned from this was, I'm never applying to a job ever again. Yeah, dude. In terms of that, I wanted to expand on something that you just said, in terms of, like, being nice to people and all that sort of stuff, because I'm going to share a story that has happened in my career, and it's a beautiful story. It's one of my favorite stories. So someone who I used to work with, they left because of their boss, and, you know, moved to a new company, like, and is now at the same level as their previous boss. So she also went to, like, you know, refer someone who she used to work with at the same company where the boss still is. And, you know, she's like, yeah, sure, refer you. And, you know, happy days. Hopefully she gets the job. Now, the woman who referred her went to a boss being like, oh, who do you think I'm going to hire? It's like, oh, it's between this and this other person. And she's like, oh, who's it against? And says her old boss's name. And she was like, there's no fucking way you're hiring this man. It's like, oh, really? Like, he seems the most qualified for the job and everything like that. And she was like, listen, I don't care who I need to talk to convince you, but this man is the reason why I left. There is no way that you're going to hire him. Like, otherwise I'm quitting. Like, there's no fucking way. So the girl got the job, not who was. So in terms of, like, seniority, the junior got the job over the senior, because the senior was a dick to the former junior. And this is why, if you're a boss and you get into management, you get into mid-level management, stop being a dick. Because the thing is, right, after, like, once you have 6 to 8 years experience, like the same amount that Sam and I have now, say you're a manager for a few years, and then all of a sudden you're going to have people who are going to come under you and stuff like that, and then they're going to get it 6 to 8 years. After that, you're all going for the same
It's all
opportunities.
equal opportunities,
Like,
bro.
there's so many times, like, I saw it when I was at Spotify and Microsoft. Like, there was a role where there was a junior who reported into the senior at Microsoft, but then the junior went to Spotify, he developed there, and now the senior reports into him. Like, they've seen that happen, and because they had good rapport, they basically just kept on giving each other jobs when they kept on moving. So if your manager's being a dick to you, and then, say you progress 6 years later, you move, you join a fast company that's growing, and all of a sudden your boss might be like, "Oh, what's happening here?" If your boss is a dick to you, you're not going to let them. You're not going to hire them, and this happens all the time.
I think people forget. I think people get drunk with power, with like, and there's a guy I've worked with who's very much like that. I think he got very comfortable because he thought, and I think he still does, thinks he's safe in what he does and how he treats people. And I've always had this has always been my focus, and people see it through the redundancy tales because I talk about this a few times. It's about maintaining a positive brand. It's about my personal brand when it comes to working somewhere. Is I want to be seen as reliable. It's as simple as that. I want to be the guy whether, because in my head it's like we will walk past, and I always imagine this. I'm walking past someone in Nottingham, and every time I tell this, every time I tell this to someone, I imagine that if I was to walk past you in the street, I want you to look at me and go, "Oh my God, that's Sam. I used to work with Sam. Oh, he's amazing. He's definitely the guy to go to if you need some help with something. He's the guy." So no matter what situation it is, you know that if I'm there, it's going to be okay. I'm going to try my hardest to help you. That's the brand I try to maintain. There are some people I've worked with who they don't give a crap about that. They see a job as just a job. And I think to a degree, that's what I should have done more of. And I know we've built into like, I'm doing what I'm paid to do now. But I'm still going to do a good job at that. This dude does not mind stepping on other people and destroying them just to say, and he will flawlessly in front of everyone pretend he's not doing it. Like everyone knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. But in front of everyone, he'll just ignore what he's just done to everyone else. Like he'll just pretend it never happened. And it's almost like there was a few moments where I'm sat there like, does he know does he not know we can see him? But does he not know that we all know what he's doing? And we all like catch up after meetings and just be like, what on earth is this guy doing? Like, how's he getting away with this? And then I think there was a meeting where I caught up with some people, and slowly we all just realized because we let him, he keeps getting away with it because we all just ignore it. Everyone here has the ability to call him out on it and fix this, but we all choose not to because we don't want to deal with the drama. And then what I realized very quickly was he is also where he is because he can't go anywhere else. He's stuck there. Like everyone else has basically left the company or gone into other areas that he would love to go into, but his name is dirt now. And I'm not gonna lie, if he came to the same team as me, I'm not giving him a reference. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not putting myself in that position where I've got to watch my back all the time because he was. I watched a podcast and oh God, I'm so sorry guys, I can't remember who it is. It's, to be fair, he's like one of the Andrew Tate and Friends type people, you know, the pals that go and visit him in this like Romanian land. But there was a quote he made that stuck in my head, and it was like, you've got to be, I've got to find it. But essentially, you've got to be careful of lazy people. And there's nothing worse than a smart, lazy person because they will do their very best to throw you under the bus. Like they'll do their very best, like just to avoid doing more work, they will destroy you. And they're the worst kind of people to have around you. This guy is that. First in line to take credit for something he has no idea about. Last in line to do any extra work to actually see it through. But as soon as it does well, he's the first person to be there and be like, I actually guided Sam through this. And I'm just like, okay, give me 3 points around what I did then. But then it's so public that if you're a nice person, and nice people do finish last, it's so public that you kind of just sat there thinking, if I call you out, I look like a bad person. So you don't want to call him out. And because everyone has the same mindset, he's just consistently got away with it. But the drawback of that is he's now in an unfortunate situation where I think he's looking to find new experiences. He's looking to leave. And he can't find anyone to back him. Like no one wants to give him a reference. No one wants to support him. The one person, honestly, that had his back has left the company. And recently he just threw him under the bus. Like in a meeting that person wasn't present in, we all watched him throw him under the bus. And we're just sat there like, that was your best friend. That was the person that would have actually saved you. And I
That was one line left. And just cut it off yourself.
when he said what he said, like I was just there on the camera like, what did he just say? And like, don't you know we all see you? Like, we all hear what you're saying. We all know what you're saying is wrong. You just did that. That was your one backup. If it gets back to this person, you're screwed in this industry. Like, no one's going to give you a reference. No one wants to give you a reference. You just done that. I was shocked. And at that point, I realized that some people just aren't mindful of their brand. Some people aren't mindful. And I tried to, and it's a brand because you have to maintain it. You have to be authentic about it. You really have to care about what people think about you to a degree when you're looking to apply for jobs and you're looking to explore. And if you're growing your career, even if you think you're at the top, if you don't own that company, you're not. Someone can take that away from you. It's as simple as that. And even if you do own that company, your suppliers can take that away from you. Your audience can take that out of you. Life is tough. If you're a bad person, life is tough for you because you've got to pretend to be a good person to survive these days, right? But if you're genuinely good, if you genuinely believe in the right things, if you genuinely believe in helping others, going above and beyond for others, you're fine. And I'm not bothered about giving that advice and not going any further, because if you are the kind of person that's just there to rinse other people and like walk all over them, then I don't care how it works out for you, to be honest with you. As simple as that. I don't care how it works out for you. I don't think maybe there was a time in the Stone Age where we needed sociopaths and psychopaths, but I don't see a value in them right now. I just don't. And that's simple as that. I don't care to kind of give you advice on how you can swindle people. I don't care to give you advice. Like, the only advice I have to give when it comes to the job market, if you really are looking to improve, is be a good person and actually consider when you're making decisions. Don't just do it because the company has asked you to. Consider the wider impact and the impacts on your brand. When I worked in uni days, when my time and experience, everywhere, there has always been moments where someone's tried to like cheat the system and asked me to make a decision or put my name down on something that morally I felt wrong about. I'm not saying this is high up people. These are people that just wanted to like quickly get something done. Oh, just put that form through, or just sign this. Oh, just cancel that agreement with that business. Let go of them. They're not going to help us hit targets. Or like say, and I'm like, well, they will. I can see that they're going to help us. Yeah, but we want bonus this year, so if we do this, we won't get bonus. Like, there's moments like that where you always like the devil will try and get to you, let's say, and they'll try and like put little seeds in your head of like, just do it. It's just quick and easy. Just do it. And I've always said no because morally it felt wrong, and logically it felt wrong. It's just like, well, no, this isn't a job. The job that we're here to do a job. We need to do the job properly. And if you let those moments get to you, you will negatively impact your brand. You will negatively impact your name goes out there, especially when you work in B2B. You're always at some level client facing. You need to realize that you generally need to care about the needs of clients. You generally need to care about your products. You don't just do things to serve yourself, get a quick bonus. You don't do this just to get a quick bonus and dip. You have to care about what you're doing. And why I'm saying that is you've got to think who might hire you next. Who might see your CV next, who might see your name come across their table next. And if you're so comfortable living a lazy life of just roll over other people, then that's the karma you get. Because there are individuals where I feel like I know them well enough that if I saw your name come across my desk, I'm definitely warning them about you, because I'm not letting you come into my new happy place to destroy that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simple as that. And there are probably people watching this and they know who they are, and now I guess we don't have to talk about it. Simple as that. But yeah. Sorry, I've rambled on about me. I know we've talked about both our successes today, but I do think we need to pivot into, how I need to ask you a question, Lewis, because you've got a new opportunity, but you're still following your passion around editing.
Yep.
Right. And do you see this new opportunity threatening that? Do you see it supporting that?
I think it enables it massively. I think it enails it massively. I don't have to be in the office a lot,
okay,
which is great. And also, how can I say this humbly? I'll be able to invest in it more, like just due to financially invest in things. Like if I want to do certain like courses or any like certain equipment or software, like it will enable that a lot more as well. In conjunction with because I don't have to be in the office like 3 days a week, I could do like once a week. I see myself having a lot more resources and also genuinely just mental capacity to do it. Obviously, I'm not in the role yet. I might have a bigger workload than expected, but having the conversation so far, it seems it's quite seasonal. So it seems like because I've been so overworked, and now I'm actually used to working at that level of rate. And say a new company comes in at like 60% of that, I have more now capacity to actually put in those hours, and I'm not mentally exhausted. And that's so with those things combined, I see myself having a lot more time to actually allocate it to the editing, as well as the podcast, to be honest. Because I just feel like I have more time, and I'm less stressed about everything. Like in conjunction with like moving out of London and, you know, everything being a lot more manageable, and not having that circumvent my headspace all the time, I see myself having a lot more time to actually choose a struggle a bit more. So I see it enabling a lot. And yeah, that's all I have to say on it.
Fair enough. I think for me, obviously I would advise, if you're running a business or you're looking to run a business, and looking to be employed, always read the contract of your new job, because some jobs just don't allow for it, in the contract. I think ideologically they're cool with it, right? But in terms of in the agreements, you've also got to watch your back, because at any point HR can pull that money, your ability to pay your bills away from you, through like some kind of gross misconduct rule. My new job, one main thing it does for me is I can maintain the context of running a business when I'm done, because it's massively focused on making sure that SMEs have the right services and capabilities they need. Ultimately, for me, there's an opportunity to approach it also from a B2B angle, and that's one of the main things I care. B2C, sorry, angle, and that's business to consumer, being able to provide directly to you as a user a financial service or financial toolkits, things like that. There's opportunity to build that out whilst I work there, and that was one of the main attractors for me. But I would say that it keeps my mind on that rather than just credit scores, I guess. And I would argue, in my new role at Experian, before I accepted this other job as product owner, there was definitely the ability to do the same. There really was. I think this new role it just did what Experian offered and a bit more in this new role. I think that's what made it a decision. Not even about the money, it gave me like more contacts in the industry for what I want to do. It just opened the doors a lot more.
Yeah.
But I would say that this new job, the one at Bionic, it's basically it means that when I'm done with my day and I open my personal laptop to work on my ideas, I'm still in the mindset of coming up with entrepreneurial ideas, because I've got to consider entrepreneurs, I've got to consider business ideas, things to do. And if anything, it's fueling my mind around cool things I could be working on in the background. They are relatively strict on like working hours, and I've always maintained the idea that if it's between 9 to 5:30, that's the time I'm paid to work for another business, and I try not to work on my own business ideas in that time slot. They've got a bit of a quirk. Theirs is like 9:15 to 5:30. We don't want you working for anyone else in that time, which is basically most of the day, right? So I think that's the one drawback, is I can't, on my lunch break, legally be working on anything that isn't like for them, or I can't be paid to work on anything. I think I'm in a unique position because I don't really see this new idea that I and Luke have kind of paying me a salary or having me employed. So it's like loopholes, but ultimately I'm excited because I get to chase my research a bit more. There's contacts to kind of follow my PhD passion. Better pay, of course, is always a huge win. But the other aspect is that I'm in an environment that fosters entrepreneurialism. It'll empower my creativity. And I think the one thing I'm going to watch out for is, will it empower it so much that I'm too burnt out to do anything creative for myself after the day's done? And that's one thing I want to maintain. Through my discussions, it's quite clear that it wouldn't be the case. But I know that there's many times where I've put myself in a situation where I've made it impossible to actually achieve these goals because I've accepted every possible responsibility that makes it difficult for me to function outside of work. So yeah, I think that's some testing and learning to do whilst I'm in this new company. But yeah, I think it would help me. Do you have a question?
I don't think I do. Okay, I don't think I do. Yeah, I think I was gonna ask you. Yeah, just about the. What was I gonna ask you? I can't remember. I think it's maybe just like, yeah, I don't see the new role kind of taking
Mm.
me away and being like getting super comfortable. That's one thing which I was quite
Yeah.
cautious of, because that kills entrepreneurship. Because I remember my dad was telling me a story of like he got a job when he like was paying him a lot, and then like it didn't, and he got so comfortable because all the things that he needed were being worked for by work, because he was just being paid really well. And it's now in later life trying to pick up that entrepreneur and trying to start something now, because all of a sudden you now have that desire because you didn't do it 20 plus years ago. And so having that in mind and being like, oh, you know what, it's chill, maybe I could just be happy in my job. And don't get me wrong, I can be happy in my job, but I still want to. I believe that these ideas of things that I want to do in my head are there for a reason, and I can't just ignore it and be like, oh, but you know what? I get food where I shouldn't want more, and I should be happy with what I have. There's a reason why I think about this all the time. Like, it needs to be explored, and I think this has kind of reinvigorated my passion for editing quite a bit, because obviously, don't get me wrong, finding a new job has been the focus strongly in the last like 2 months, to be completely honest. But now that I have evidence that I can stick through, and I've got grit. I've got a shitload of grit and resilience now. And now that I know that I have that as an arsenal for me to tap into, because I know it's in there somewhere, it makes me believe that in the editing world, I'll be able to figure it out because I've navigated this shitty period. So I'm not worrying about, oh, what if I never make it happen? Because I fully believe now that if I want to make it happen, I'll make it happen.
I'll say this, Lewis. I don't ever see you being a starving artist. And God help me, if I ever saw you heading in that direction, I'm making sure you know that I think you're doing something stupid. But and I'll try my very best to help you. I don't think you ever need that help, which is why I'm able to offer it. But I would say I don't ever see you being a starving artist. I don't ever see you being in a position where you're having to say, hey, I'm worried about being able to pay my rent, and these projects I've got to do aren't paying, I'm covering it, but it's okay. I'll keep pushing it, and one day I'll make it. I always see you having some other revenue source or something to keep you going, so you can actually see it through as a passion rather than a survival mechanism. And I think as an aspiring business owner, as an entrepreneur in general, and for all entrepreneurs in all shapes and forms, you to a degree, I see that a lot of people make success by making their entrepreneurial journey their make and all, or the make or break. Let me just use simple terms for the love of God. They make or break of their success, and it basically becomes your own job. I know a lot of people go through like funding circle type journeys or incubator type journeys where you're paid like less than minimum wage to start a business, and then they own 30% of it. But you're going to be a millionaire, so it's okay. You're going to go 100% into your idea. And I respect that. But I think we live in a day and age where there's a lot of people with multiple responsibilities. The journey to the journey up to the top, that hill is a lot steeper these days than it ever was before. I would argue in the past it was a gradual incline. A lot of the people that are successful now, their journey to success, it was still a steep hill, but it was a lot more. It wasn't as steep as it is for us these days for the younger generation. I think there's a lot more to be able to do before you get to that ability to self-actualize. You have to save a lot more. You have to put not actually save a lot more isn't the right term because inflation moves things around. You have to spend a lot more time acquiring the amount of money you need to buy a house compared to before. That's arguably what the problem is, right?
Mm.
Before you could get a job a year later, less than that, you've probably got enough to save for a house. And I know that I pretty much did that uni days, but that's because lockdown came in and I had no other way, nothing else to spend money on. I had nothing else going. So all I did was save, save, save. I didn't have a social life to maintain, which is like one of the love and belonging stage of the hierarchy of needs, right? I didn't have to care about that. All I had was shelter and self-actualization. Like during lockdown, right?
Yeah.
That's all I had to worry about. But yeah, I would say that in these day and ages, it's the hill's so much deeper. It's so much harder to get to a point where you own your own house or you're in a comfortable living situation. It's so much harder to get a pay rise at the company you work at. So you constantly go through these stresses that me and Lewis have just raised, which is like find a new job. Because honestly, these days that's the quickest way to actually move up in pay. Um, the battle's just so much harder, and I think it is difficult for older generations to understand that because it's all seen through the guise of when I was your age, I was able to achieve this in X amount of time, and they're in their period where they've self-actualized and they're looking back retroactively. And some older people get it; they see it and they kind of go, when I was your age, I was able to do this, but also there weren't this many barriers and I didn't have to work as hard. And there weren't as many people to compete against in
Absolutely,
general.
dude.
We're breeding at a very fast rate. And now there's more, every generation has more people to fight against.
Yep.
It's a game that gets harder every year.
Yep. And
Right.
yeah.
And you just got, so I would say that as an entrepreneur, if you're a young entrepreneur, please, please, please consider being able to balance both. Consider having a part-time job, a job that covers those last two bits of the triangle, a job that covers your ability to pay for your food and covers the rent, but also gives you room to develop the other things, gives you room to care about your family so you can develop that need to belong, your social network. And once you've got that, I would always advise base your self-esteem on the people that are close to you that give you that positive energy. That's something I failed to do. I made my whole life about my job, and it put me in a mental state where if I had a bad day at work, I felt like I wasn't worthy, and it had an impact on my OCD. I wasn't sleeping right. Now I'm trying to do more in my personal life, make sure I'm spending more time with people close to me. I'm able to base my self-esteem on that. And then self-actualization is where everyone wants to be ultimately. You want to be in a place where you're comfortable to chase your dreams. And that should be where your business comes in. Try and convince yourself that your business is that self-actualization is you becoming who you are. And you could do what Lewis does, which is be passionate about creativity and not care about the money because the money will come.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah, dude. But no, man, it's yeah, it's weird times ahead, man. Like 2025, I've never looked forward to a year more. Like in January, I'm gonna move in with Rosie.
You've been in Rosie?
Yeah, moving with Rosie, getting a new job. You're getting married. Like I've never looked forward to a year more, man. Like I feel, and the thing is, you know what? I said, because I remember Saturday morning, woke up, Rosie's like, "How do you feel?" And I said to her two things. I was like, "I'm glad that I've proved myself I don't have a breakable spirit."
Amen.
And I also said, I feel like I'm making moves that that like I'm being my best self. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm doing all the things that my best self is doing. Like it's not like, oh, my best self is here. Like with this, I see it in the mirror now. Like which is really, really nice.
Different.
It's different, man, because I feel like I'm walking, like my aura is just different. Like I was on the phone with my dad, and my mum texted me during, be like, I can hear like your confidence and your demeanor's just changed, like ever since you've got yourself out of this. And it's purely because I just know that I feel like I'll just figure it out. I will always be fine. Like I truly do believe that, because life just works in weird ways. And I've gone from literally 4 weeks ago waking up at 3 a.m. and feeling like shit and stressing, and now I'm like,
we made it.
Where like dude, like I saw everybody in my team leave to go on and get better jobs and get more money, and I was just stuck. And I saw 2 waves of people in my like 9 people I saw, like, and like 5 in a team, right? And I saw all these people come and go, and I'm still here and I'm still doing this shit. And now what's happened is I've now like just completely rocket launched myself.
You were just building up momentum, dude.
Off
You were
my
building up momentum.
Yeah.
You were just building up momentum. Everyone was like, everyone was going for a long marathon, and you were like, okay, sprint.
Ultra, bro.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I literally said this the other week. It's like pressure bursts pipes, but it also makes diamonds.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. Now you've got shine,
all
bro.
that pressure.
Now you've got shine.
Now
you've got shine.
Yeah, man. So now I'm very looking forward to. I've never been this optimistic, like about
it's a good place
what
to be.
lies ahead, and it feels good because
it's a good place to be.
All the negative self-talk is I'm not going to say it's gone, but it's on mute for the time being, and it's a good place to be in because I know I can now. I want this experience to help someone who's also going through it. I pray they're not going through it as long as I have been, where literally it's like December 2022, I started looking, and I hope I can help someone navigate this period and actually be like, you will get through it because I did. And I genuinely thought that I was going to be stuck here till 40. At one point this year, I was like, I genuinely think I'm actually just stuck. Like, I remember calling my parents and be like, I think my career is actually done because there's 1,000 no's here. There are 1,000 no's. And my brother said to me, like, there's got to be something. Like, I'll tell you this now. Because I told him this, and he was like,
it doesn't make sense. Numbers don't add up.
He was like, I know entrepreneurs who have messaged half the amount of like investors and got money. So he was like, this doesn't make any sense. And I said to him, I was like, dude, I know I sound crazy, but I think genuinely it's God is heavenly intervention because I don't understand why I'm getting all these no's. And then when I got this, I was like, I told you. How mad it is when your most visited site is LinkedIn in a world where you Google everything and my top search on Google is LinkedIn.
Sad. That's so sad.
But you know what?
We've done it, bro. We've done it. You made it. I think one last note is Lewis has been through trials and tribulations, but I will say that experience in all the pros and cons, in all the like positive and negative experiences I might have had there, I'll say that exit process definitely helped me. They set me up for a company that basically work with people that go through redundancy. And they basically, like, I had a mentor who, I don't know if I'm allowed to name her, so I'm not going to name her, but if she sees this, hi. I had a mentor in that process who basically just sat me down, and her main thing was, what is your brand what's your unique selling point when you go into an interview? You need to start working on that unique selling point. And one thing I've learned is a lot of these kind of like interview conversations, they're all rehearsed. They're all like, oh, it just doesn't feel natural. And you kind of just like, I'm not going to do that. They do help. Because on the other side of the table is someone who's probably seen about 200 people for this application. They just want to get to the point. And it does help to practice. It does help to kind of do the basics and get through it. And once you're able to cover the basics and once you actually get closer to the end of to the later stages, whether it's stage 3 or stage 4 in an interview, where they say, okay, now it's an informal discussion, that's where you really get a taste for what you're applying for. And I guess for some people, it's hard to actually get to interview in the first place, right? It's hard to get your CV seen in the first place. And in situations like that, if you're racking Lewis numbers and your CV ain't getting seen, you need to have a look at how you're writing the CV, because there's a lot of companies where they just give an automated system. And there were so many, I know we talked about this, Lewis, but there's been so many companies where I applied, the computer said no, and then the HR person messaged me after.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never had that.
It happened to me so many times. They were one of the many offers I had, and I was just basically sat there like, that's where you start to learn that you need to believe in yourself more, but you've also got to play the game better. I'm going to go. Right, it's bedtime.
Guys, if you enjoyed,
it's bedtime.
Subscribe.
It's bedtime.
Subscribe to everything. You know it's a
Subscribe to all of it. Subscribe to all of it. We're making it. Also, massive congratulations to Ollie. He became senior software engineer in this company. So,
gang,
Ollie, my old business partner.
One
Bro,
five.
everyone's just bringing good news to me. Who's going to tell me I want
We
£1
all
million?
are.
Who's going to tell me, Sam, I want £1 million? Here's half of that.
Yeah.
Someone give me, that's all I need now. That's all I need, the other good news. And we good. There we good. Cycle complete. On to the next one.
All right, leave it up there. See you guys next week.
Great day, guys.
Peace.